Welcome, boys and girls, back to my counseling corner. It's Miss Edel with one of our last lessons that we're going to have together. Before we get started, I wanted to let you know that I have an assignment. It's just meant to be fun in Canvas right now. It's a career scavenger hunt, and it reviews everything that we've been learning together about the 6 career paths. There is an image of this particular poster at the bottom as a reference, and I'm just curious what you can find in your home that would represent different careers or different career paths. So maybe make a video or send me some pictures, make a slideshow, tell me what you found, and if you can't make your video work, just give me a text entry. Tell me what you found, and it's just meant to be fun. All right, not expected, all optional. The book I chose that I want to share today is called A Letter to My Teacher. I know that you've been missing your teachers so much, and teachers are just special people in our lives. Some of them can have impacts that last us in our memories for a lifetime. And so I chose this book because it reminds me of all of our sweet students and our sweet teachers. I hope you enjoy it. This is just meant to be enjoyed. This book was written by Deborah Hopkinson, and the pictures are by Nancy Carpenter. And we see our main character looking down in a puddle. Her hair is long, so it's getting wet. And my story starts like this. Dear teacher, whenever I had something to tell you, I tugged on your shirt and whispered in your ear. This time, I'm writing a letter. So you can tell, maybe she's older now. Maybe she's an adult looking back. We see her trudging to school, her yellow raincoat or slicker and boots. I hope you remember me. I was the one who marched to school that first day, splashing through every puddle I could find. I wore a bright yellow raincoat and a dark, stormy frown because for me, school meant sitting still and listening to things I wasn't much good at. I stood there, ornery and dripping, just sure I'd get in trouble, but instead you grinned at me. Good morning. Look at you standing there like Mary Kingsley, just back from canoeing up the Oogooey River. Who? I said. Where? Mary Kingsley, the fearless explorer, you explained. Someday you will read about her and crocodiles. Now get the mop. Crocodiles? I think this must be why they need the mop. After taking attendance, you made a big announcement. Welcome, this year we will be planting the first ever 2nd grade garden. It will be our great experiment. Yay, we get to dig in the mud, I shouted. True, but first we read about plants, you said. We'll use math to measure our plot and we'll write our garden plan. Reading, math, writing? I was better at running and jumping. The next week we visited the creek behind the school to learn about plants and water. When you weren't watching, I started to hop the rocks. Right in the middle, I got stuck. Look at me! I'm Mary, what's her name? I hollered, trying to sound brave. Watch out for crocodiles, you called back. Then you rushed to rescue me. On the way back, you held my hand and never told anyone how much I was shaking. At fall, I tried hard to sit still. Right before Thanksgiving vacation, you asked who wanted to make the Mouse Brothers home. Me! Pick me! I guess that said who wants to take the Mouse Brothers home. And she said, pick me! But while I was busy eating turkey, my cat, Lucy, ate one brother. I bought a replacement mouse, except I couldn't just couldn't tell you. One day when we were cleaning their cage, you called me over to your desk and told me that we might have to change the brothers' names to Ma and Pa Mouse. You knew the whole time, I said. Laughing, you said, might as well get used to it. Teachers see everything. When winter came, the reading corner became our secret garden of stories. On Friday afternoons, we curled up in a heap to listen, just like our new litter of mice. I loved it when you read to us and always begged for more, but I hated being called on to read out loud. I kept tripping over the words. Once, right before my turn, I yelled, "Raise your hand if you want to go home." Another time I clutched my throat and croaked, "Uh-oh, I lost my voice." Nothing fooled you, though. You called me to your desk and asked, "When we make our garden, do you think the seeds will grow right away?" "No," I said. "Everyone knows they need time and sun and water." "Well, learning to read takes time too," you said. "Now I think you have a cat." I nodded. "Lucy, the one who likes mice. I'd like you to read to Lucy every day," you suggested. "It might keep her out of trouble." I giggled. "Maybe I'll read her Puss in Boots." I practiced hard and you gave me extra help too. One day you brought me a special book. I met a real author and he autographed it just for you, you said. I looked at the cover and sounded out the words. "Wow, it's about her, that explorer Mary Kingsley." You smiled. "Next week you can share it with the class." In March, we explored our town. We went on a field trip to an old house that was full of history and secret stairways. When I slipped away to look for hidden treasure in the root cellar, you and the whole class had to trudge down the old stone steps to find me. I think even you lost your patience that time. Exasperating was the word you used. I remember because that night my mom helped me look it up in the dictionary. Maybe that's a cranky face. She is exploring though, isn't she? The day you brought in seeds for us to choose, I tugged on your shirt. "Can we plant this kind? The packet says early spring. We can have bright red radishes in just a few weeks." "Good reading and great idea," you said. Thanks to the math games we played measuring our garden patch was easy. At last we turned over our soil and we were ready to plant. I was radish crew chief and read out the instructions all by myself. All spring we weeded and watered and kept garden journals too. Reminds me of our high tunnel at Field, boys and girls, and all of the plots outside down the kindergarten hill. On the Friday before summer vacation, we wrote our invitations to every class to come enjoy the salads that we'd grown ourselves. "Splendid spinach," said the principal. "It's because of the worms," I explained. I didn't know how to say thank you, so on the last day I gave you a present, a memory quilt. I'm going to pull closer so you can see all of her memories. Mice, and leaves, and worms, and measuring, and exploring, seeds, and planting, teacher, and her. I'd measured squares on paper and made the story of our year in each one. The reading corner, worms in our compost, the magnificent mouse family, and best of all, a picture of you and me. You looked at the quilt for a long time, and then you held it up for everyone to see. Thank you. Now I'll never forget you all in the year of the second grade garden. Me neither, I promised, and I never have. For a long time now, I've been wanting to write you and tell you that even though I didn't always listen and I know I was exasperating, second grade really was the best year ever. So I guess you won't be too surprised to hear that I still like to stomp through creeks, dig in the garden, and even read out loud to my cat. Most of all, I want to tell you that I'm about to start my first job, and tomorrow when I go to work, I think about everything you helped me explore and try my best to be like you. Thank you for being my teacher. So that wonderful teacher inspired her to become a teacher. A little girl who felt like she wasn't good at much except for running and jumping and stomping around. But she felt cared for. She learned how to read. She learned how to do math. She learned how to have good relationships and be thoughtful and communicate. If you wrote a letter to your teacher, I wonder what it would say. Maybe this week you could send your teacher a message through their inbox and tell them how much you are grateful, how much you'll miss them, how much you care. Anyway, that's my lesson this week. I hope you enjoyed my story. And boys and girls, I'll see you when I see you. Okay, for now, stay safe, healthy, happy, and calm. We've got this, boys and girls. Until next time, I wish you well.